Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's member benefit partner webinar. It's so excited to see you all. My name is Precious Blake. I am the Operations and HR Director here at the National Guild. In April, we unveiled our new membership structure that's catered to serve the holistic needs of our community. Our new structure includes self-selected tiers, access to community connection and resources, a deepened investment in professional development, and extended free or discounted benefits offered by our partners. So my colleague, Lisette Martinez, is going to put a few links in the chat if you want to learn more about our membership, if you want to become a member and learn more about the benefits that comes with membership. We're really thrilled to have a fantastic lineup of member benefit partners as we embark on this exciting new chapter at the Guild. Whether you're a current member or you're considering joining, this is really for you. Each week through June, we're highlighting one or two partners who will share valuable tools, resources, and insights on different topics. And you can find our full lineup of member benefit partners on our website. Today, I have the honor and privilege of introducing our featured member benefit partner, Ashley C. Whiteside, LMSW, got all the letters. They have an amazing breadth of expertise in creative wellness, pleasure seeking, and really getting back to your center as who you are as a person. So I'm very excited to have them here. But of course, I'll leave the bulk of the introduction to them because they have a lot of juicy tidbits to share with you. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I'm sure Ashley can answer them as we go along, but we will have a Q&A in the very end to clarify anything in the presentation. So thank you all for joining, and I will pass it off to Ashley.
Thank you so much, Precious. My name is Ashley Whiteside. I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen. Can I get a thumbs up if you can see it? Awesome. Thank you so much. Um, Hi, everyone. For those that are joining us live, thank you so much for being here. For those who are catching the replay, happy that you are joining us in our virtual, cozy little living room. Today, we're here to talk about creativity, care, and culture, and what a wellness-centered approach to artists and for arts organizations can look like, right? My name is Ashley C. Whiteside, and this is the presentation for the National Guild for Community Arts Education. So, welcome everybody. We're going to take a few breaths to just land in this space here. So, in whatever way feels comfortable for you, I want you to settle your body. Okay. I want you to exhale all the air out first. So, this first breath, I want you to take a cleansing breath in, clearing away anything that's happened before this moment, anything that's happening after this moment, and blow it away. This second breath, I want you to breathe into your full body here, breathing in, pausing for an extra sip of air at the top, and exhaling to relax your body. This last breath here, I want you to think of what is one word that you are hoping this space nourishes in you or your work today, or one word that's inspiring you. And with that intention, we are going to take another breath in and pause for a second at the top. Get your one word. Got it? All right. And we're going to exhale it out. Would anybody like to share their word or share a phrase of what is coming up for them? Like my word today is going to be supportive, almost like a scaffold. That's the image that came for me. Inspiration, release. Yes. Awesome. Creative. Yes. Awesome. Thank you all so, so much. So, we like to start with getting grounded because, as I said before, it is, already the afternoon. We're almost to the end of our work days. Some folks are bringing everything from the morning into this space or thinking about what they have going on after. So, how can we ground and land in this space for ourselves? Right. So, quick little overview. We're going to be spending about the next 40 minutes together. In this time, you're going to get an introduction to who I am, who is Ashley? What is Altruistic Ash? Why work with me? We'll do a little bit of a taste of creative coaching. We'll review the offerings that are available for both individuals and for organizations. We'll talk about next steps and how to get connected to doing this work, and then we'll do some closing reflections with our Q&A. Awesome. All right. Someone also said their word they bring in is peace. I think that is the perfect word for today and every day. All right. So, Ashley and Altruistic Ash. So, my name is Ashley Sierra Whiteside. I'm a licensed master social worker. Like Precious said, I have lots of letters and acronyms within my name. I am a licensed social worker. I'm a creative arts therapist, and I have a very deep commitment to community based healing. I have experience working with artists and cultural workers, from graphic designers to dancers to local community arts organizations serving youth, particularly working to bridge the gap between well-being and creative expression, right? My practice is rooted in radical self-love, right? The practice of what does it mean to honor your most full and authentic self? Then how can centering that continue to build a bridge to the lives and the worlds that we want to see? Rest as resistance. How do we find equitable practice between work and rest? And the belief that healing is both personal and collective, right? Um, the political is personal, the personal is political, is a fundamental understanding that I hold near and dear to the work that I do. As a Black queer woman, I bring my own personal lived experiences. I bring my clinical training and spiritual grounding to all of the work that I do, supporting both individuals and organizations. So that's a little bit about me, Ashley. And then Altruistic Ash is my business, or or my organization that I work with. And so Altruistic Ash is a private practice, but it is also a coaching and consulting practice for creative visionaries, mission-driven teams, and arts communities. We offer workshops, creative coaching, and wellness tools that really work to center emotional health and creative resilience with collective care. Right. So, what does it look like to enhance the emotional health of an individual, whether that's on your team or also within the emotional health of an overall organization, and building creative resilience within your own personal practices and the practices of a organization. All of my services are trauma informed and rooted in healing justice, centering burnout, balance, and purpose, right? How do we create a space where we can continue to do the work that we're doing in a way that is sustainable, right? I have a very specific affinity to working with BIPOC creatives and community-based organizations that still continue to serve folks that historically have been underrepresented, or underfunded or undersupported within the arts communities and the ecosystems that they create. Any questions about me or Altruistic Ash? All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so next we're going to get into a little bit of a taste of the coaching work that I do. So I like to call this a creative climate check, right? So, as we are filming this today, I am calling into you from the Lenni Lenape land here in the city of Philadelphia. It is a Wednesday afternoon. It is very gray outside. It is very rainy outside. It's feeling more like spring than summer. But I'm curious for you. where are you or your organization in your creative season right now, right? Are you blooming? Are there things that have come into fruition that you are implementing and integrating that you have been working to bring into practice? Are you planting the seeds? Are there new things that you are looking to do that you're excited about, and you're starting to build the momentum towards that coming into fruition? Are you resting or composting, right? Is this a season of reflection and understanding what is working, what is not working, what needs to be composted and let go of so that way we can birth into something new? Or are you harvesting? Have you done the work? Has the thing come to fruition? And now you get to see the efforts and the fruits of your labor come into reality. So, think for yourself, if anyone wants to answer in the chat, you know, where are you at in your creative season right now? And you can answer as an individual. You can also answer as the administrator of an organization. But let me know. Blooming, but also composting, but also harvesting. Right. Absolutely. And I think that that provides a very, very beautiful and pointed answer that these are not individual silos, right? If we look to gardening, if we look to farming, there are things that are blooming well into what we would consider the fall season. Um, but we're still harvesting those things. They're just not coming into fruition in that regard. So you can be blooming in one particular area, maybe composting in another, and harvesting in another. Absolutely. I am both composting and blooming. Yeah. The things that you're returning back to the earth to continue to support and nourish what is going to grow. And said composting and planting. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. So now that we all kind of have a little bit of an idea of where we are in our creative climate wise, um, I really like this last answer. Personally planting and organizationally or professionally planting and composting, right? And I think that again speaks to the difference in which we can be in multiple different places at once, right? So with that in mind, we are I'm going to give us about say 5 minutes, right? And just taking the next 5 minutes, and I want you to think about a visual or a symbolic representation of your current creative season, right? This can look like a weather icon, like clouds, sunrise, or rainfall. It can be a landscape design or can be a sketch of maybe what's happening right outside your window, right? It can look like a circle divided into emotional or multiple zones, climate zones. For those of us that were having multiple different areas in which we're relating, what are the ways that you can integrate the two or three things? Or it can just be a simple list of three words that capture the essence of each of those states for you. So, for example, composting, like I said before, is like returning back to the earth, right? Planting can be, regeneration. So I'm going to give folks a few minutes here, and I would love for you to just take some time to think about what is a visual or symbolic representation of your own personal creative climate. Okay. give folks one more minute to get things wrapped up and finish your thoughts. And again, like this is just meant to be a start. This isn't necessarily ready for you to finish, but I encourage you to come back to this maybe at a later point in time in your day or when you have some more capacity to really think about this. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. And just a question for those that are both here with us and watching on the replay that you can take with you in this exercise is, what does this image, this visual representation, these words, what does this say about where I am right now? Right. And is that, how close is that to where I want to be or where I'm going? All right. So use this as an opportunity to reflect. Um, use this as an opportunity to reflect. Okay, awesome. All right. So getting on to a little bit of like what am I offering, right? What are the things that are available? How can you work with me? Um, First, I'm going to go over the individual offerings that'll be available to individual members, and then I'll go over the organizational offerings. Okay. So, the highlight of our individual offerings is a package of 4 60-minute virtual coaching sessions that'll be offered at a discounted rate of $200 in total. So each session ends up being about $50 per session, which is super awesome. It makes it really accessible for folks. And you'll be able to utilize those 4 coaching sessions over the course of 4 months. You can use them back to back, you can use them biweekly, whatever floats your boat. And I also have access to an on demand pre recorded content that folks can also watch that talks about creativity and wellness as well. So they're starting in July when we launch this, there will be 3 workshops that are already pre recorded in there, and then new workshops will be added and updated quarterly. And this is $100 for access to it for the entire year. Okay. Any questions about individual offerings? I will go over how do you register and do all of those other things a little bit at the end, towards the end. Okay. Question? All right. So then we have organizational offerings. So for organizations, there are 3 separate ways that you can connect and work with myself, right? The first one is through live classes and workshops. So this is what we call synchronous. It will be live in real time for real time interaction and engagement with participants. For those that are done virtually, the recordings will be provided to participants afterwards. For those that are in person, there wouldn't be a recording, but it would be available for the staff. There are a number of different topics that are available, everything from restorative justice to talking about creative wellness to organizational health, talking about burnout prevention for staff and for organizations. These are workshops that can be done in their own. There can be a series of workshops that can be offered together for staff. This can also be something that can be utilized if you have a staff retreat or a board retreat. That would be really, really helpful to offer the tools and the skills to continue to support the work that you're doing. Second, there is a customizable staff wellness workbook. So this is the opportunity to get a workbook that has interactive exercises to support the wellness and the creativity of the folks that are working with inside an organization. And they'll be tailored to the organization's needs. But overall, like I said before, it would be talking or centering around the themes of resilience, self-care, emotional health for individuals within the organization. And then lastly, like for the individuals, we also have access to the pre-recorded workshops per organization. There, it would be $500 for everyone in the organization to have access to that. And you would be able to, again, access on-demand content at your convenience. This will be asynchronous, so pre-recorded workshops. Um, Again, there will be three workshops that will be available starting in July, and then quarterly, the workshops would be updated. Any questions about organizational offerings? No? Okay. So, next steps, like, okay, now you have all this information. What do you do with it? So, for folks that are interested in continuing or would like to work with me or like to have a conversation about what that would mean and look like, I do have a site on, excuse me, I have a page on my website that is specifically for folks at the National Guild. So you can go to my website at altruisticash.co/National Guild. And once you get there, you will be greeted by a form in which you can indicate what you're interested in. And then from there, we can schedule some time to discuss what that means and what that looks like moving forward. For folks that are joining on the webinar, you will also have first access and first dibs to that information come July 1 once everything is opened up. And so please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, if you're concerned, if you're curious but not really sure what direction to go to. This is a place where you'll want to start. And then from there, we can have a more detailed conversation. So thank you. Thank you all so very much. I am going to stop sharing my screen so we can ask any questions. Any questions about anything, about me personally, about the work that I do, anything that I can give clarity on.
Thank you so much, Ashley. That was really helpful to kind of get the full overview of who you are, your experiences, and how you'd approach this. Um, with your offerings, what's kind of like the top issue or challenge in your field that you find that folks who are creatives are really navigating the most with?
That is a really good question. And I think the answer for that is different for individuals than it is for arts organizations, right? For individuals that I work with that are creative cultural workers, oftentimes they um, want to be able to have art completely support them as an individual. And sometimes that is the case, and that is a wonderful, beautiful thing. And in that case, typically it's burnout, right? Talking about how do we continue to make and produce art in a sense that it art is our job, like we have to continue to do that without losing our own personal creative fervor, right? And I feel like for folks that may even do a version of art for work, whether that is graphic design or whether that is marketing, really continuing to enhance their own creative resilience and prevention burnout prevention for individuals is what I typically see for artists in that regard. um, for organizations, what I'm finding is how do we create that emotional resilience within an organization, right? Um, it's a hard time out here for to be in the arts world. Like, let's be real and let's be honest. Like, it is hard. It is very uncertain times. And so, how do you manage all of the things that are going on within an organization, all of the things that people are feeling within an organization, and still trying to have a cohesive team that you can continue to serve those that you are called to serve, right? So, how do we have honest conversations about where people are, how people are feeling, what is the information that we need so that way we can move forward as a team, and where are the places that we can stick a pin in and come back to so that way we can continue to have a flow within the work that we're doing. And so it's a challenging time in that regard for arts organizations, but for individuals it's burnout, for arts organizations it's the emotional resilience and the organizational resilience work. So that's what I'm seeing just about right now. That was a great question. Thank you for asking that.
And that resonates. I
Any
think that that tracks. And I'm curious if anyone also is feeling that either resilience or burnout showing up for them. But even with organizations and partners and things of that nature, when the guild, when we did our surveys and town halls asking folks, what do y'all need? People were saying time, rest, support. I need more staff. I need more people. I need someone to be an assistant for my life, you know? And so this webinar is one of the kind of outputs of us hearing that from our community and saying, like, we need some emotional, mental support, spiritual probably somewhere in there, but you know, it's while we are artists and we are creatives, we are also humans. And so we have to tend to our full selves if we really want to show up in this work as arts educators, arts administrators, etc. And so hopefully, you know, folks are really excited to have this conversation with you and get access to wellness so then they can
Mhm.
really feel supported as they do a lot of work we got to do. I mean, we're in it for the long haul, and so you have to tend to yourself if you want to have longevity in this field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns, queries, qualms, conundrums, testimonials? Go ahead, Brittany.
I am just wondering, how do you balance being both therapist, coach, and also artist? That's something that I feel like I struggle with all of the time. And it's really difficult to balance that without your energy going to one place and then that energy. For me, I feel like I don't have enough energy sometimes to focus on my art when a lot of brain power is going into my clients. So I'm just wondering, how do you balance those things?
That's such a good question. Thank you. I find that for a lot of folks that are artists that I work with, when their love and their passion is in their creative work and they have to do other things to be able to pay bills because we live in a capitalistic state, it can be very, very draining, right? And so this idea that I have to do these things so that way I get to do these things. And I often find for folks that it's a consistent push and pull and trying to figure out which which of these things takes priority or precedence in that moment. I like to remind folks that you can create and carve out time for yourself. In the same ways that we may sometimes schedule a meeting for work, I like to say schedule some time to do some artistic thing for yourself, right? Um, some people love Julia Cameron, other people feel different ways about that, but I think the concept of taking yourself on an artist date semi-regularly can be something that can be very, very helpful and effective in being able to spur up that creative fervor. Being able to take some times to work on a project, even if a project may not necessarily come together in a month or 3 months, but maybe giving yourself 6 months to a year to bring something into fruition and working at a pace that allows you to continue momentum while also maintaining your energy levels can be really, really helpful. Oftentimes, I also find for individuals who do work and need to find the balance between work and their creative passions is sometimes like this battle with like imposter syndrome and feeling like, well, is my art good enough because I have to do this other thing, so I get to do my art, and trying to find their voice within their art because it isn't necessarily something that they are steeped in every single day. And that's something that I work with folks on also very, very often. So trying to find, I don't like to say balance because balance equates to some sort of perfection, but what does the harmony between all of the things look like? How do you create space and time for you to enjoy the thing that makes you feel good? And then thirdly, knowing that you are worthy and good enough, whether you put in creative energy once a day, once a month, once a year, and that you are still an artist and valid and valuable within that. I hope that answers your question. Awesome. Anyone else? These are really good questions. These are juicy. You are so welcome. Absolutely. Any other questions, comments, concerns, queries, qualms, conundrums? No? Okay. So just a reminder, for folks who are interested again in getting some more information, whether you're an individual or an organization, you'll want to go to www.altruisticash.co/National Guild, and that will give you access to the information that has been presented here today, as well as a form to sign up for getting a chance to chat more about what that means and looks like for you. Thank you so much for everyone who is here live. Thank you for everyone who is watching the replay, and I can't wait to connect and support your creative resilience.
Thank you. Woo woo for Ashley. Much appreciated of you. So again, thank you everyone for joining us and Ashley for sharing your work and really walking us through so many juicy tidbits of wellness and creative resilience. Again, like Ashley said, we will have this recording available on our resources page and on our YouTube. Our next webinar will be next week. I'm going to pull it up now so I can let you know. It's for Art Center Canvas, talking about their platform and their communications and how they can support community art centers. So if you are a community art center and you're interested in Art Center Canvas and the work that they have to offer, please join us for that. And also we've got more webinars coming up. So the May and June webinars, please sign up if you'd like to. We also have staff office hours for collaborative and community networks. And so if you identify as a community arts education leader, or you are part of an aligned field and you want to learn how to get connected to other members who have similar interests to you, or you just want to be connected to people who are in your region as well, that is the webinar to please attend. So I believe the links for that will be dropped in the chat momentarily. Please feel free to sign up for those. And we'll also have some shout outs of this stuff in our newsletter. So thank you all for coming, and we really appreciate you, and we will see you next time. Thank you.